I have a few initial concerns. So I need a bit of a rant before we get stuck in. And this is just mindset fuck-ups by everybody who isn't in shape. And I guarantee you have one of these things right now or aren't realizing it. And we're also going to run through a couple of tests just to make sure we know where we are in the scale of how much the fuck we need to level the fuck up. So, initial concerns. First of all, everybody thinks it's hard. It's not hard at all. It's easier to be more successful than it is to be less successful. Now, success can be in anything. We could be talking about success with fitness. We could be talking about success with knitting, success with money. What does success mean? Success means to make progress in a goal that you have effectively. So in order to make progress in your fitness goal, it's easier than not making fitness. Now you're probably thinking, what the fuck are you on about, Tom? But success is subtraction. So you need to do less things in your life to get in shape than you do to get out of shape. You've got to realize that, guys. Stop thinking you are adding to your life by getting in better shape. You are simply just going to be taking away, which is a crazy thought, guys. So that's the first thing. It's fucking easy, right? You are picking the hard route right now, and let alone having more complexity in your life than someone who's in shape, but just hard in terms of the insecurity that's on your shoulders about not even liking who you are, and we'll talk about that shortly. The next thing I want to say is skinny fat bodies look absolutely disgusting, right? I'm saying this because I've had a skinny fat body before, and it was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. And it's disgusting not just because it looks horrendous, it's disgusting because it looks horrendous, and the people who have that physique have a complete choice to not have that physique. We're not supposed to look that way as males. Every man should be 10% or less body fat and have a solid amount of muscle mass. You don't need to be Chris Bumstead, but you need to look like a bit of an athlete, right? We are men. Like, men these days, it's like weakness is celebrated. Like, I don't know what the fuck men are turning into these days, but please can everybody just fucking become a man? The next thing, talking on masculinity. Males are supposed to peacock. Now, if you realize what peacocking is when a peacock tufts up its feathers and it's showing off. Throughout the whole of history and in the whole of biology, men peacock to women. Men are the fancy, flamboyant show-offs that attract women. Whereas right now, society has programmed everybody to just be a fucking estrogenic little bitch, and now put women on this pedestal of these amazing, flamboyant creatures, while everyone just sits around, gets fat, eats Dominoes and wanks off and looks at these women on OnlyFans. It's the wrong fucking way around. That's why the world is broken. Men need to become peacocks again. Look in every animal. Look back in humans for one, but you've got the peacock and you've got the female. The peacock's all colorful and flamboyant. Look at reptiles. Even look at lions versus a lioness. It's obvious, guys. You need to be the more attractive one. You need to be the more dominant one. Most people go to their missus for advice and literally let their missus be a decision maker. It's not supposed to be that way, guys. So, first, how do we peacock? Two things, and this gets messed up massively, right? If we are going to peacock, we peacock first in the body, in our physical presence, and we peacock second with resources, or showing signs of resources, materials, cars, houses, etc. Back for lions, it would be authority, it would be the best den, same with gorillas, all of this stuff. But the first sign of peacocking must come from your physical presence. This ties into my next point, which is everybody's looking for fulfillment, i.e. to peacock in the second thing before the first thing. Everybody's trying to accumulate resources to peacock before they are on becoming the person. Everybody's looking for what they want, not who they want to be, which is really important. You need to focus on becoming the peacock itself and then getting all the resources afterwards. So your physique is everything. And like I said, it's not a C-bum physique. You don't need that, but you need to be the attractive character. The man should be the most attractive presence all the time. That's what's happened in the entire of history. Now, here's a little test for you guys, just to know whether you're doing good enough, right? Because this is how it should be, right? There's two types of men. There is one type of man who effectively gets into bed with his missus or the girl he's dating, and she's literally like rushing him. She's like, oh my God, I get to see you with your top off. And she's fucking, not to go into all the details, but she's getting flustered as fuck, the fact that you are taking your top off. There is another type of man who sleeps with some girl, if he even sleeps with the girl, and then the girl does not even care. She's kind of like, I'd rather you keep your top on. She's not trying to pull it off you. So the first test is, does your chick get pissed off if you don't take your top off quickly during sex? This is really important. I know when I used to be a fucking weirdo back in the day, like there would be no urgency with anything sexual. Whereas these days, if I'm dating a girl or in a relationship or there's a girl around or whatever, they are trying to fucking rip your top off. And by you keeping it on, it's almost like they're getting pissed off. They're trying to pull your clothes off. That's how it should be. The second thing is, when you do take it off, does she compliment you or does she just not give a fuck? Because as soon as your top comes off, she should be fucking staring up your arms, looking at your bicep vein, grabbing your forearms, hands fucking on your upper back, all fucking muscly, on your abs. Like, that's who you want to be. And really, guys, this ties into as well what I was talking about before, which was everybody's trying to do that resources thing first, but we all know that there's some rich people on this planet who have got better cars, better house, better everything than you, but you would still rather be you. You know, if you're in pretty good shape already, you know you would still rather be you than have all that money, and that's the point. People are looking for the resources first, which is the wrong way around. We know we'd rather be the guy and the best version of ourselves first, and then get resources second. So even if you've got all the money and you're with a chick, you still hate being the guy, and that guy is still insecure. Like, I would not want to be a guy with even more money, even better cars, but have to get in bed and feel insecure and I'm just fucking got a little skinny fat body. It's disgusting. The next thing is, right now, would you go to the mirror, just take a picture, topless, and post it on social media? Or would you say right now you are too insecure to go and do that? Or you know that if you did and you don't really give a fuck, but you did, it would be extremely offensive to everybody else, and they would be like, can you please not post that on Instagram? Leave that for the guys that are in shape, please. So these are the three tests you need to run through. And the thing is, the final one, which is actually quite strange, is you should have high standards for this. You know, like I've been 12% body fat before and been like, you know what? I actually wouldn't even at 12% with a solid amount of muscle mass I might have been 95 kg at the time on my way up, and I would have still thought, no, I don't want to post my top. Like, you want to have a good physique, because when you have a good physique, your self-image improves. And when you've got a good self-image, you look in the mirror and any goal you could write down on pen and paper, you just know you can go and achieve. Like, fitness is the gateway because it unlocks your true authenticity, it unlocks your paradigm, it unlocks your better belief systems that allow you to go and move through life on a higher frequency. No one is high frequency when they have to have thoughts of insecurity in the head all day. Okay, so that's the test. That's the rant out the way. Now, we are going to get into the daily habits, guys. So this is going to be the most simple video you've seen on fitness, guys, because it is simple. It's not hard. Okay, so when it comes to daily habits, like I said, most of this daily habits section, you are simply just going to be removing bullshit which doesn't move you closer to your goals. So I say this, every moment of your day should be working. Now, what is work? Work is everything that can move you closer to your goals. So that might be the financial, the career stuff, and it's also you, because it's not just about how to, it's also 90% about who do you become, which would make it impossible to fail, undeniable to not have. So the daily habits should either be you working on you or you working in the business or in your career. So daily habits, you should be waking up earlier. If you've got tons of time and you've already got lifestyle freedom, It's not quite as important, but I really do believe that you are higher frequency if you get up earlier in the morning. So I would recommend that early wake up, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., even 6 a.m. But I'm a big fan of anything prior to 5. I really think you just operate better. Even if you think you're a night owl, I would just say if you try this for at least 7 to 14 days, you will feel higher frequency, less distraction. If you look in all the religious books as well, they all talk about it, right? And there's a reason for that. So I would have early wake up as one habit. Your next habit would be hydration. I'm sometimes guilty of this, drink a lot of caffeine, don't hydrate enough. But your cognitive performance will be outstandingly better, as well as your training performance, because if you are hydrated, you will have intramuscular fullness, which means you're going to be able to contract the muscle better when training, get a better pump, you're going to look better, you're going to feel better, perform better. On top of that, you want to be training, I would say 4 to 6 times a week actually in the gym, resistance. Okay, some people you may actually want to go 7 days a week. I'm a bit of a creature of habit and like to run the same routine every day. So I go 7 days a week, but I'll do 5 heavy resistance and I'll do 2 where I'll just do some cardio and maybe a little bit of abs, accessories, etc. So early wake up, hydration, training. On top of that, then you need your nutrition. You need to be hitting your macros from good food sources. We're going to come to this shortly. When it comes to nutrition, guys, far too many guys are just trying to eat healthy and they're like, oh yeah, I'm on a diet, so I'm eating this food. That's not going to build you the physique you want. Neither is just turning up at the gym. So right now we're just talking about the habits. Later in this video, we're going to talk about refinement of the habits, the things that actually get results. What I would then do is have a movement goal. So some guys who might be tight on time may do X amount of cardio at the gym, you know, after their session. Some guys may do steps. Steps are less neurologically taxing, so it's going to have less fatigue on your body. So in my opinion, resistance training with steps is a better way about things, but I've done it both ways. You can do no steps, no cardio, and just do training, and you can just do training and nutrition. That works. It's just less efficient. Okay. But there's always a way. Every client I have in my business has a different approach on how we get there, because it has to be built around your goals. Hence why the title is Sustainable Fitness Routine. Now, I personally think the word sustainable is fucking gay. If you pressed on this video because it said sustainable, I got you, but it's fucking gay. Who gives a fuck, right? But we need a routine. On top of that, I would then just have a 30-minute section of your day where you're going to have mindset audiobook or read a book before bed and do some evening reflection. So what went well? What didn't go so well? What's my new perspective on what didn't go so well? And then go into the day with a clear day the next day. Your habits are different. Right now, your habits are probably watching TV, probably snacking on food, probably meeting up with people that are just pointless and unproductive to meet up with, probably having stupid conversations, probably scrolling TikTok, scrolling the feed. You're just going to need to subtract on this and just have a simple set of habits. Like my life, guys, is so easy. Like it's so easy. My life used to be way harder. And if you really want to take your life to that next level, you have got one lifetime, remember. You just need to focus on making your life easier, removing bullshit, right? Society will program you to have all of this bullshit in and make you think you're a bad person if you do the opposite, but that's completely wrong. The next thing you need to do is calendar. This is going to be very unique to every individual who watches this video, but hypothetically, let's talk about it as if we are a 9-to-5 worker, okay? That I'm using that as an analogy. You know, working a job, you might be working 8 till 6, you might be working 7 till 7. I don't really give a fuck. I don't care if you're doing nights, if you're doing days, if you're doing shifts. Take the principle. You've got the middle of your day, most likely, unless you're an entrepreneur like myself and you can kind of structure it how you want, right? And it's going to be pretty self-explanatory if that is you. But most guys are going to be working this solid chunk of the day in the middle, and then you've got the morning gap and you've got the evening gap. If you right now think there's no morning gap, wake up earlier, okay? So for me, this is how I would go about it. Play around with it, but the morning gap should be you growth. So wake up earlier and give yourself enough time. And I always ask myself, what would need to be true in order for me to fit this in? Chances are it's probably just going to be remove some bullshit or wake up earlier. So I would do morning growth. That's personal development. I might be studying mindset. I might be reading a book, audiobook, watching a course, doing something from a mentorship or a program I'm in. And then I would be in the gym. So like me getting better, if I can make sure 365 days a year, I'm getting better physically, mentally, spiritually, etc. That's what I'm doing in my calendar first thing in the morning. So that could even include preparing my meals. Okay, you can all play around with this, but I've got to make sure 365 days a year before work I get better. Most guys just go to work and they can end pretty much every day not knowing they're any better. And that's the issue. So it's what we need to be true. How can we guarantee that every day we get better? Chances are you need to wake up earlier, coming back to the early wake up. In the evening, I would then, maybe you're going to do some more work on your fitness. Maybe it's steps or it's just routine, and try and tie steps in with an audiobook or something productive, or maybe doing your emails or whatever. Okay? Multitask. I don't care. I'm not one of these losers that says, don't go on your phone in the gym. If you saw me in the gym, I crush my sets and I'm working. I'm DMing people who are trying to join the coaching programs. I'll be getting back to literally everybody, right? Like I will work all the time. So focus on your set in between. If you're walking, if you're doing cardio, work at the same time, because we're not here to just get in shape. We're here to build the best life, and you need to build the best you and do as well as you can in your career, okay? But building the best you is going to be the foundation to you doing well in everything, okay? Then in the evening, I would just do more career skill sets, okay? You might have more meals to prep depending on how you're doing it, but I personally would just say, look, this is where I'm going to do half an hour or an hour on getting better at some skills that I know will serve me better in the future, because everyone complains about how much they're getting paid if they're working for somebody, and they may say, oh, but they only pay me 40 grand a year. And I'm like, no, they only pay you 40 grand a year. If you had more skills, if you had more to offer, they would pay you more. Or if you just shifted into a different industry and you learned new skills that allowed you to do that. So for example, I had a guy who was doing, he was doing 80 grand a year. And he was doing good, but his skills in that job only allowed him to go that far. And his job wasn't really a vehicle to the life he wanted. I said, mate, I can help you. In my elite business program, he started learning the skills, and instantly in his first week, he made 10 grand because he'd learned new skills, right? So that was just some preloading up in his evenings of new skills, and that then allowed him to earn more in the future and be in a job that he actually wants to do, because he built a coaching business, which is arguably the highest frequency career in the world, in my opinion, because you are educating, you are serving people just like I'm now. Like, I love doing this more than anything. Right, guys, the next thing is nutrition. So I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. I don't want you to overcomplicate this today. I'm just going to walk you through the phases that we take all of our clients through inside the elite programs. So the first phase is priming phase. Everybody gets this wrong. Nobody actually does this. After that, we go into a diet phase. Then we reverse back up. Then I do something what we call a holding phase, and then a performance phase. This is going to sound a little bit gobbledygook at the minute. I will run you through it very shortly. Okay, so what's the purpose of a priming phase? This is the exact thing I'm going to show you how to set up today. Now, a priming phase, I want you to imagine it like this. It's going to allow your body to get the response. It's going to allow your body to get the slingshot because it has something to move from. So far too many guys are just eating inconsistently. They might be saying, I'm trying to eat healthy. You know, they're conscious, probably not just after Christmas, but trying to eat healthy, but there's not a specific meal plan or specific calories and macros optimized for them. So because this is a little bit like this, if we think about day to day with inputs of food, and we also think outputs of expenditure and movement and training inconsistencies, your body is all over the spot. It's like this bumpy graph. And then if you just jump in here at a diet, your body's not coming from a stable environment, let alone its fatigue is probably high, its recovery is poor, insulin sensitivity is poor. So you're just coming from a really low response. And effectively what people then experience is they go into a diet phase and not much really happens. They have to take it extremely low, extremely fast. They have to push cardio very high, very fast. And then they just get even more skinny fat. They just build a smaller version of themselves. They feel like they're getting too flat. They lose muscle, they lose a bit of body fat, but they're just a smaller version of themselves. and they hate themselves even more. So then what they do is they don't trust the process and they start binging food, start have some high days because they're like, I want to feel big again, but they've still got fat to lose. And it's just a mess cycle. You've probably been through it. I know I did back in the day before I knew what I was doing. Okay, so priming phase is very important for that. We get your calories, macros, meal plan all built to get you as responsive as possible. And we set that baseline like this in the most optimal position for you specifically. Then once that's done, maybe you're already 8% body fat and you want to go into a gaining phase. Amazing. Well, now you're going to, if you make an amendment with movement or with training or with nutrition, you have a solid line to move from. Likewise, most guys who are going to be shredding body fat first, I think everybody should be 8 to 10% body fat before starting to work up. Okay, and don't lie to yourself about what body fat percentage you are. So then we shift into a diet phase. If we've come from this baseline and then we drop, well, now your body's going to be like, it's just going to be like literally a car off the line. It's like, let's go, right? Whereas too many people are just coming from this random wobbly line. So we want to prime. I'm going to show you how to set that up today. After that, we would then start effectively manipulating macros, pulling food, upping expenditure as and when we need. I'm going to walk you through that briefly. After that, this is where we really turn up the heat with the physique. This is what I call the reverse phase. So when you look at like my transformations and when I've peaked my physique and you see it looking extremely lean but full as a house, that's because we've stripped the body fat off and we've depleted a little bit, and the muscle belly might have got a little bit soft effectively because there's less glycogen, water in that muscle belly. But then once we've shredded the body fat and we're like, yeah, we're happy with the body fat percentage now, we load the muscle back up with glycogen and fullness in the reverse phase. And this is where we manipulate the calories and macros, especially the carbohydrates, in order to achieve that fullness. And you even look leaner because now your muscle belly is pressing against the skin. It also helps us drive our maintenance back up to a higher calories so that you can now sustain that shredded full look at a complete different level of calories to you've ever been before. So as a bit of a figure of averages, if that's even a term, I would say if your maintenance in a skinny fat-ish physique is 2,500, chances are if you did the diet phase correctly, you grinded through it, you got shredded, and you reversed back out correctly. This is why you see guys who 6 months ago looked average and they were shit, and now they can eat 3,500, 3,700 calories and still be peeled and bigger. That's the importance of the reverse phase. From there, once reversed out, I like to do a holding phase with clients, keep them around their new maintenance for 4 to 6 weeks. If some guys are in a rush to build more tissue, 2 weeks is fine. But this then allows us to solidify that new position, solidify and really understand where that new maintenance is. And then we have, at the end of a holding phase, it almost acts like a new baseline. We can then grow on from there and go into a performance phase where training performance, I call it a performance phase, not bulk, because training performance is the driver to building tissue. So we would just edge food up, pull expenditure back a little bit. We need some in for CV health and just for overall fitness, which is going to help with recovery and building tissue. But from here, then we just focus on training performance. We just add in food as and when we need it, and we manipulate the training program and volume to see where we want extra tissue in the physique or whatever the goals are. Okay, so that's the roadmap. Now, priming phase, this is what we're going to do. So what I want you guys to do right now is grab your phone. I'm going to do the same thing. I want you to go on your phone and go on calorie calculator, right? Now, look, if you want to take this to a complete new level, guys, there is a link below and you can just apply to work with us. You can go straight in, check out my website, look at all the programs. You can join up straight away. We've got different tiers depending on the level of accountability and extra support you need. Some are just going to be programs. Some are going to be programs with support. Some are going to be programs with one-to-one mentorship and even train in person with me, depending on where I am in the world, and one-to-one calls. All different tiers. There's a tier for everybody watching this video. But that's obviously something we can do. For now, just with where we are, this is how I want you guys to set this up. Go on a calorie calculator. Go onto one and type in your main, and basically you want to find your maintenance calories. So I've just opened up TDEE, okay? Now, then you want to put in your height, your weight, your age, and all of that good stuff. So for me now, I'm just putting it in. I'm 24 years old. I'm 227 pounds. I'm 6'5". I live a moderate to heavy, I would say. And body fat percentage, I'm currently about 10.5 at the minute, 10. Gives me my maintenance calories. Now, once you've got this maintenance calories, this is what you're going to do. You are going to now figure out, if you did this in kilos, guys, figure out, go into a different thing on Google and just say swap kilos for pounds. Write down what your body weight is in pounds, and that's the amount of protein you're going to want to aim for, right? Just to keep it really easy for a priming phase. Then, so you've got pounds equal 1-to-1 for protein. So if you are 225 pounds, put 225 grams of protein for your priming phase. Then, if you, 225 pounds, I don't know what it is, but let's say hypothetically it's 102 kilos, you want to have 1-for-1 for fat. So I would go 102 fats. So right now we're at 225 protein, 102 fats. Then you want to work out, okay, 102 fats times 9, because 9 calories for 1 gram of fats. Okay, so that's roughly 900. Then what you want to do is you want to put in your 225 protein and figure out the calories for that and times that by 4. So 225 times 4, 900 effectively. That's 1800 for me. Then all I do is I take that number away from my total calories, because there are 3 macronutrients. We've got carbs, fats, and protein. We now know with this formula, your protein for priming, your fats for priming. So we add the total calories of both of those together, take that away from the maintenance calories, and that number left is going to leave you with the amount of calories that will come from carbohydrates. Now, hypothetically, let's say the number left, you were left with 1,750 hypothetically. All you would then do is go in your calculator, divide that by 4, because 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories. That will then give you your number of carbohydrates. That will look like surprisingly a lot of food, okay, when you do your macros this way. So that's what I want you to do. That's the priming phase I would run for 2 weeks to start off with. Unless you have already come from working with a coach and you've been bang on for weeks and weeks and weeks and you know exactly where you are, you can move from that. But that's how I would set up. Then when it comes to food sources, I'm actually just going to put something together. I'm going to give you guys a food source list and a training program, just because this video would be hours long if I go through every exercise in training and if I went through every food source. So just message me go on Instagram actually and message me YouTube plan 2025. And I will just send you over a full thing with nutrition setup, training setup, food sources, etc. And then you can just use this new formula for your priming phase, and then you can go from there. All you do then, guys, once you've run your priming phase, you're going to start subtracting your calories with your macros. So I would be effectively keeping my carbohydrates as high as possible, and my protein I wouldn't even shift. And I would just be pulling the fats, okay? Pulling the fats and upping the expenditure. That's all I would be doing for you guys watching this video who are wanting to diet. Okay, so once you've run 2 weeks of priming phase, I may pull 200 to 500 calories effectively of food from fats. That's it. Then I would just add some more movement and cardio. Once you get to the point where you're, let's say, at 30 fats, 35 fats, I wouldn't really go below that. I would start then looking at pulling carbohydrates. But ideally, you want to be as high carb, low fat as possible if you're trying to create the best aesthetic possible. I have got videos as well where I show you how to do like a high performance setup. We have some clients where they're just serial entrepreneurs and they're optimized solely just for focus and they've already built a physique, and we set them up like that. I don't want to get this too confusing, okay? Like I said, every client we have, we set up in a unique way based on their goals, where with physique, with mindset, with career, with life, okay? And it's going to be slightly unique for everybody, but as a figure of how we should go about things to create the best route. Pull the calories, keep the carbs high, keep the protein the same all the time. And then from there, you just want to be pulling the fats, maybe 20 gram fats, just pull out. And then effectively, you're going to increase the cardio. Now, I'm not going to tell you how much yet because we're going to talk about this later in the tracking section. Okay? Now, the next thing after nutrition, because nutrition, I'm just going to send you guys over if you message me on Instagram. It's just a case of figuring out your calories and your macros, which we've just done. I'll send you over the food sources, etc. So, meal frequency. I don't want to be too regimented on this for you either. Like I said, we're going to use the gay word sustainable. It needs to be something you can stick to. So you are going to have to pull your finger out your ass a little bit and just think, right, I can't keep doing the same thing what I've always done and expect a different outcome. So I have to be willing to change, and I have to be willing to act more like the guys who have the results. That's something you have to do. However, I personally have run diets where I've done 2 meals a day. I would only recommend that if you've already got in elite shape and now you just want to optimize focus and sustain that shape. Everybody else, I would say between 3 and 6 meals. 4 to 6 is optimal. If you've got a long way to go with your physique, I would go for 4 to 6, okay? And just keep it nice and simple. So meal frequency, I would go for 4 to 6, but in a real world, 3 to 6 is absolutely fine. And you're just going to break your macros between that. If we're going to go even more specific, I would have your pre-workout and your post-workout meals the highest carbohydrate. So that's going to promote glycogen into the muscle pre-workout for performance, because in the muscle we've got glycogen, sodium, and water, which creates that fullness. If you ever feel flat, it's because they're down, okay? So pre-workout, we want a moderate to high carb meal, and then post-workout we want a pretty high carb meal. Try to pull fats as well a little bit post-workout, because fats will actually slow down gastric emptying. They take a little bit longer to digest. So if we're trying to get glycogen straight back into the muscle post-workout, if we go higher carb, higher protein, lower fats, it will, in theory, help. Now, have I built my physique without doing all the optimizations? I've done periods. Everybody has to, play their part in play the phase. If you've got a long way to go, a lot of muscle to build, it's like people look at my physique now and they may look at how I go with things now because I'm more optimized for everything. And that wasn't how I initially built it. I initially built it high carb, low fat, high protein, 4 to 6 meals a day, and just disciplined on a meal plan every single day. And you've got to do your stint. You've got to earn the rights, I always say, when it comes to fitness. Okay, guys, so build that out. And how I would build it out, guys, is go on MyFitnessPal, use the food sources that I'll send you, whole food sources ideally, and just play around with them. Proteins, carbs, and fats. Think about your pre and post workout meals and just hit your calories and macros. Go on MyFitnessPal. Like me and my clients inside my app, what we can do is we've got all the meals. So I build out their meals. So for example, this is mine. I've got my pre-workout, my post-workout, meal 3 and meal 4. And then it also has a section to log food. So hypothetically then, let's say I have to go off plan, or I even want to update my meal plan. It's got it's not MyFitnessPal, it's our own, but it has a MyFitnessPal style thing, like a chronometer built into it. So my clients can follow the meal plan that we've assigned them, their calories and macros for that week, and they don't have to think about anything, they just do it. Or on the tab literally right next to it, they can just track the food and hit the same things, and it'll give them a countdown. If they want to swap, they can do it. It's so easy, I've literally just built this, so it's unbeatable. Okay, I'm just laughing. My meal plan here called Fuck You Physique 2025. That's what it's called. So meal plan, done. Training, 4 to 6 times a week, guys. Resistance, I do a body weight workout every day, but that's not to get in the best shape. That's more of a disciplinary standpoint. When you stack small wins from your mindset, you just build a lot of trust with yourself. You build a better self-image for yourself. You have less doubt, you have less anxiety because you are doing what you said you're going to do. So stack them small wins. Also, when you go into a pain threshold, you raise your frequency. Okay, most people go for instant dopamine and you get the crash, your baseline drops. Every time you do that harder thing, your baseline raises. So I do things in my day to not just move my physique forward, but to optimize my frequency, because you attract based on your frequency. Don't want to make this too much of a mindset video. Okay, so once we've figured out how many days we're going to train actually in the gym, 3 is a bare minimum, but you're a bit of a fucking loser if you opt for 3. 4 to 6, even 7. I really don't care. Then from there, we want to do our split. So again, this is going to be based around, in fact, I'm sending you the training program. I'll send you a 5-day training program, a men's physique training program, which I've run for a long time. I'm actually currently on a new program at the minute, but it's built the majority of my physique. I'll just send you that exact program. It's a push, pull, legs, upper, arms, and delts. It's like the most fucking laddish split you've ever seen, and it's just fucking insane. Okay, so I'll send you that program for any of you guys wanting to do a 5-day split. It's got all the volume in a solid place. Now, yes, do we manipulate volume myself every week when necessary? Yes. Do I do it with clients? Yes. But guys, this would be a 40-hour video if I told you how to make every amendment ever possible with nutrition, with training, etc. And nobody, like, guys, your job isn't to, unless you are a coach, your job is not to just waste hours and hours and hours to try and understand it to a really shit level when you could just have the answers like that, right? Your job is to work on your life and your career and delegate. My biggest reason for success is delegate. I've just delegated a lot of stuff so I can just do what I'm best at, right? And there is professionals, like we are professionals at getting people in the best shape, building mindsets. We've obviously got the business program as well, but not to go into that, right? You can just have it all done for you. So you can just know it's all built for you, optimize, and just get stuck in, okay? So training wise, I'm just gonna send you a program. Will it be the most custom program ever? No. But will it be better than what you're doing right now? Yes. Supplements, okay? Now again, we cater for everybody, but just to speak in terms of generic men, vitamin D, I put B complex or methyl complex, creatine, magnesium, zinc, and omega-3. In my opinion, all men should be taking all of those. Vitamin D, 5,000 IU minimum, okay? B complex, 2 capsules. Creatine, 5 to 10 grams. Magnesium. By the way, when you get supplements, get good ones because they're not very potent. They'll just get pissed out if you get bad ones. Magnesium, 400 to 600 milligrams, depending on your muscle mass. Zinc, 30 to 50. And omega, 3 to 4,000 milligrams per day. Okay, that's what I would be doing just as the generic male. Now, guys, I also want to say this. We can go into the most crazy detail if you want to work with us and you want to check out RT as a programs. But besides just the actual programming, the main thing is you actually just fucking do it and you call yourself the fuck out. Because the reality is, guys, I could give everybody right now a program, and if they don't have that accountability, they don't have that exposure to high performers and guys who have already done it and done it with thousands of clients, like, people just drop off. And you got to think, what's different now? Because you said you were going to do it last year. Okay, like I could send everyone a program, but I've done this a million times. How often does someone actually do it and follow it for 12 weeks and get in elite shape? Yeah. Why do clients? It's not just the extra programming, it's the exposure. It's the community. We're putting you in a community with masculine guys, competition, support, real friends who actually push you, not say, why are you doing that? As well as us guys as coaches who pull you up to that level and elevate you from a mindset perspective as well. Tracking, okay? So with tracking, I track everything daily on my app. That's what we get all our clients to do. These are the things I'd tell everybody to track. There are a few things that aren't compulsory, but these are the things I would do. So habits, I would be tracking the daily habits we spoke about earlier and just track that like streaks. Then when it comes to metrics, I would be doing your body weight every single day, fasted. So wake up, go to the toilet, jump on the scales. You want to do that every day. If for guys that aren't in my app, you would just simply go in your notes and you just put your body weight every morning. Okay? Don't get too emotionally attached because your amount of hydration or time you had a meal or anything could affect this, but you want to be tracking that. And depending on how much that scale weight's moving is going to dictate how much you're going to change your nutrition next week. if you're going to, okay? I always say in a fat loss phase, you should be trying to lose 0.75 to 1.5% of your total body mass per week. Okay, so your priming phase, you're going to be around maintenance. You may have a little bump up or a little bump down just from digestive reasons. But then in your diet phase, you want to be in that 0.75 to 1.5. Okay, keep in there. If you start slowing out, press something harder. Maybe it's the cardio, maybe it's the food. Like I said, pull the fats first, increase the cardio, then start looking at pulling those carbohydrates as a last resort for the majority of you guys watching. Okay, so body weight, I would be doing my compliance to nutrition, because if you're missing your nutrition, don't start making updates and don't start saying, oh, I was in a 500 calorie deficit hypothetically last week, but I didn't follow it. And then I had a massive 6,000 calorie meal on Saturday. So now I'm going to pull my food and go in a 1,000 calorie deficit this week and just be stupid. No, if you are less than 85, 90% compliant, I wouldn't even touch your food. Just get better at doing what you know you fucking need to do. Okay? Training compliance, nutrition compliance, training performance is important. I honestly don't give a fuck about your hunger and your cravings. You need to man the fuck up. Most people are addicted to food. And I say this from my own experience. I have been addicted to food before. The foods you're eating right now, if there's any form of processing in them, they have chemicals designed to make you addicted and to spike serotonin in your fucking body. It's crazy, right? The only way to stop getting cravings is to stop eating the bullshit foods. I am not an advocate for, oh, balance, let's put a Mars bar in. Unless you want to be a fucking fag, right, and get no results, take the fucking Mars bar out of your fucking meal plan. It fucks me off. Just give up with the fucking Mars bars and balance. Just be a fucking man. Walking around with little estrogenic bitch tits saying you've got balance with your Mars bar. The only thing you have balance with is a fucking shit body. Like, just, guys, just don't get me going on that, please. Okay? So training performance, nutrition, compliance, and sleep, right? Aim for 7 hours, but I'm also going to be against the grain on this one and say, look, if you have to get 4.5, 5 hours sleep in some nights to make sure you hit your daily non-negotiables, fucking do it. Don't lie in to get your 7 hours, because you're going to get destroyed by everyone that does. Okay? Once you've achieved an elite physique, once you've made a few mil, okay, now you've got a team to take care of a lot of stuff. Maybe you go, oh, I'm going to start prioritizing recovery and biohacking. Fine. But don't do that bullshit from the start. It's the exact reason you are where you are. Okay? Every week do a check-in with yourself. Take your images front, side, and back. I would also be an advocate for doing pictures, not just the fasted ones for your check-in, but I would actually do some post-workout ones, especially as you start getting leaner. One thing we look at with our clients is I want to see that post-workout fullness and vascularity change. It's going to be very easy to see differences and where tissue's being added in the physique. Videos, training videos, check in with yourself on a training video perspective, and also log in the food. If it's just meal plan, just put like me, my meals, I keep my meal plan so easy. So I don't even track my nutrition compliance because I just do it every day. Okay. My macros and my nutrition, I've just got my only protein source is tenderloin steak and eggs and egg whites, but pretty much two, tenderloin steak and eggs. And my only carb source at the moment is cream of rice. Now, you don't need to do that. There's a million ways to do it. I just do it because I like to be fast and efficient as fuck. I like to be in the gym and I like to work like a fucking maniac all day. And then if I'm out for a meal and I'm networking with some clients or chilling with some other guys and out on a date in Dubai, whatever, and just out and about, I'll go out for a meal and just work it in. So I might have my first 2 meals and take the last 2 out. Okay, but I'm literally just eggs and steak. Eggs, steak, cream of rice, right? So it's easy for me. I just do 4 out of 4 meals every day. I do not miss. So it's very easy for me to know, okay? And when I go out, I pretty much order my meal. I just order steak, okay? Stop being so emotionally attached to food, right? It's fucking pathetic. Unless you want a pathetic life. But I have no sympathy for people who complain about emotional attachments to food, who look shit, right? Get emotionally attached to not looking shit instead of the fucking food. Guys, that's it. Like I said, I can send you over a plan. Message me on Instagram at Tom D. Pearson. YouTube plan. I will send you it over. guys, I have no sympathy for people out of shape when you can fix it, okay? I want you to be in shape. I'm saying this because I'm not calling you out, I'm calling you up. I just know how big an impact it has. I have been the loser. I have been the loser, and it was horrendous. And I'm a different human now, and it pisses me off so many people just kind of being stuck, and it's no fault of your own. It is now, but it's society's fault. I literally wrote up here, society is trying to destroy this in our programming. It's trying to destroy masculinity. It's trying to make us not these peacocks. It's trying to make us not these lions. It's flipping the masculine feminine. And the sad thing, the really sad thing, is that men these days now stand up for being a fucking little pussy estrogenic bitch. Because they've programmed you that hard. It's time you fucking fight back, guys. It's time you actually become the man you need to be. It's time you actually build the man you respect, the man you admire, the man you would fucking listen to. And he is a solid fucking specimen. So go all in on him. If you are serious, guys, like I said, my link is below this video. Press that, jump into my site. You can look for all the programs. If you are this far in a video, there is a program for you. Anyone who's committed to fucking results, there's a program for you guys, right? Let's just jump straight in. You'll chat with me one-on-one when you come in. We'll jump on a call. We'll get you set up. Everything will be custom built out. You're never going to have to think about a fucking thing. We'll just take you through the whole process and get you elite results. 2025 is your year. Don't say it's your year again and not let it be your year. Like, guys, also just realize you are not, if you do want to come in my program, you're not investing in me. You're not investing in my program. You're investing in you. My program is just a vehicle that I have built that will guarantee and accommodate you to get those goals. You're investing in you. So right now, do you really not want to invest in you? I have simply just built the best product, the best service to allow guys to go through the most transformative period of their life, which I've been through myself, and hands down was the most transformative. More transformative than earning money. Way more. Because everything else just follows it. And even if you are someone that has money right now, the feeling of becoming the best version of yourself is better than having the money. Because everyone knows a rich guy who's insecure. It's very nice to be a guy who's just very proud of himself and on his grind and on his way up. Resources come after. Resources don't make you fulfilled. Being the best version of you does. Guys, I do look forward to working with any of you guys that do want to jump inside. And guys, shoot me messages. Shoot me a YouTube plan. If you would just want to get straight in and you don't want to fuck about and you don't want to waste another year, let's just fucking get right to it and let's jump inside. If you've got any questions you want to ask me before you do, if you go through and into my website, there will be a button that says WhatsApp. Shoot me a WhatsApp, shoot me an Instagram DM. Let's fucking go. Guys, let's fucking win. We need men again. We need fucking real men. No more estrogenic little bitches. I fucking hate them. Let's go.